Good morning, or whatever time it will be for you when you're watching this video. It's morning here, about 6:30, and I thought I would just take you on a little walk about the garden like I do every morning. Mine has already started out by me getting stung by a bee. My fault, not the bees. I was deadheading flowers, and there was a bee underneath. I've already started by propping up these. Rebecca were laying in the walkway, so I just put a little prop there, and eventually their heads will point up towards the sun. They won't look propped. An update, my seeds are still not sprouted. Considering taking them in the house just because it might be getting too cold at night. My liatris are getting blooming further down the stalk. All right. So I was cutting off the heads of the hydrangeas. I will be a little more careful. I just grabbed onto the flower. I didn't really look underneath. To see if there was anything underneath there. These ones are laying out in the grass too, but I'm gonna leave them. I could clean up these daylilies, but that's a lot of work. So I'll wait on that. Sometimes I even wait till spring. Gives some coverage for some insects and seeds for birds and stuff. Wildlife to live in to winter over. Still waiting on my hardy hibiscus to flower. Getting closer. Not deadheading these because they will produce more flowers, because they won't. They've already done what they're gonna do. These are seed pod heads. Those are filled with seeds that you could plant if you wanted to, because that means they got pollinated. This is a spot where there was a flower, but it didn't get pollinated. This one, where it developed the seed, got pollinated. But Stelladoros are very common, cheap daylily, so I wouldn't bother myself planting those seeds. My daylily, or my regular lilies are looking pretty done, pretty ratty. And you technically don't have to do any of this. I just enjoy taking a walkabout in the morning and seeing what's new, what's growing, what's going over. If you do deadhead and cut the seed heads off, though, it will help them take better root. And dahlias, if you deadhead, will produce a lot more flowers. Very beneficial to deadhead dahlias. Hopefully not get stung again. Actually, that's the first time I've been stung. Usually the bees just are on the flowers and don't pay any mind to what you're doing. Sorry. Get caught up in what I'm doing and forget I'm filming. I'll cut that gladiola off as well because it's pretty done, ratty looking. And I do throw a lot of my waste out on the lawn and then just mow over it. Wow, that sweet shrub smells awesome. It's funny though, when you go to right up to it and stick your nose in it, it doesn't smell near as strong as from a distance. There's a couple deep down in here. There's no real technical way to trim these. I just go down to where the next, see where you can see where I cut off another one. This is what I do. Just do a walkabout. I had to cut back a lot on this hydrangea, the limelight, because after the rains it had drooped and it was covering over all the flowers underneath it. I still I'm debating on cutting back all of those. But then I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a hole, and I'm going to want to fill it. When technically there's not really a hole, because next year it'll be even bigger. Although that hydrangea should be reaching about its maximum. I need to cut back. This is way out of control. At least got it out of the grass, I guess. This is actually just where I mowed over it with the lawnmower. I need to define my edges a little better too, but I haven't done that yet this year. I see some roses that need deadheading. You're supposed to go back to where there is at least a 5-leaf. So it's very hard to do this one-handed. Got your flowers there that are dead. And this would be considered your next 5-leaf. So you're supposed to cut it right there. That one's already growing out its new stem. Let's see if I can get back in there, in this bed. To cut. This one's got new growth, so I won't cut back to a 5 stem. I'll just cut that bud. Like that. And then back out of the flower bed. Looks like my delphiniums are gonna bloom again. It bloomed in spring. They're getting some new buds on them. Even though the bottom of them is looking kind of mangy. Now lots of times when I see, or it's just another plant, when it starts to look mangy like that, I'll usually, you can cut some of it out. Here's another rose. Cut back to the 5. Cut back to the 5. And we are getting towards the end of the season here in Zone 4B, upstate New York. So some of the roses at this point I really should let form rose hips so that they can know that winter's coming and start preparing for that. I can't wait to show you all my hardy hibiscus that they have lots of buds, but no flowers yet. Which again is probably a little late this year. Here's a seed head. Sorry, that's our rain catching, because we have well issues. So we try to collect rain for the gardens. Planted some more Echinacea, 3 of them. One there, one there, and we'll come up on the 3rd one. So hopefully next year, I have not had good luck with Echinacea coming back. But I bought it without flowers this year, so I'm hoping it will just root in really good and come back next year. My Agastaki, this one's flowering. It's got little purple flowers. This is 1st year for that plant. And I love the looks of it next to the dark leaf. There's the 3rd Echinacea or coneflower that I planted. There's another seed head. That one is a big seed head. This is a daylily that my brother Kevin gave me, my twin. That one definitely more valuable than a Stella d'Oro. Another Christmas amaryllis there. It's just forming some new leaves. My hollyhocks that got completely desiccated pretty much by Japanese beetles. But they left my roses alone. So there's that. My strawberries are coming back on. I use them as kind of a ground cover, and they are delicious. Need to be picked before the chipmunks get them. Started processing my onions yesterday. I have a whole crock pot in there. I'm caramelizing, getting ready to can. I'm going to cut this zinnia off because it doesn't look great. And if I cut it off, it will form 2 new ones. Usually if you cut it off right before a leaf node, another one will grow, 2 will grow out from either side of that. I don't see anything new. You can see I've caught quite a few Japanese beetles. I think I'm going to take this rose out next year It is a ground cover rose. It is a rose that came from my mother's, is why it's lasted this long. But the problem is it gets so many weeds in it, and you can't weed it even if you wanted to because it's so thorny. So there's that. I can't stand it, just having the weeds all grow up through it. I may try cutting it all the way back and see if I can get the weeds out that way. I don't know. This is how my mind works when I'm walking through the garden in the morning. That's a dahlia there that I planted from seed last year. Decided to save it because last year the flowers were prettier. I won't save it this year. I'm not gonna baby it all winter long for those flowers, just aren't worth it to me. Got some flopping gladiolas over here that annoy me greatly. I tried to Velcro them up so that they would all kind of support each other. Beautiful in color, but that right there is why gladiolas annoy me. And they broke the stem off of the dahlia, which annoys me too because it hasn't bloomed yet. So I would probably get a stake and fix those gladiolas if I had two hands. My Clematis or Clematis, no matter how you say it, I have three. I have one there on that post, and the end post. This one here needs to be controlled. It's just taking over and growing around out into the flower bed. Which in some cases I like it when it does its own thing, but that one's really starting to look a little too wild for me. Got lots of cherry tomatoes down in there because there's a pot there. There are some white gladiolas that are just absolutely beautiful and haven't flopped yet, as you can see, but they're taller than me. This one here is taller than me, so any sort of wind or rain or whatever. But man, and they start out like a soft pink and then get whiter as they go, and that is just, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I should probably just cut that stalk and take it in the house and enjoy it there, because these are the next flowers getting ready. Absolutely beautiful. And some snapdragons growing around underneath it. Some more dahlias that need to be groomed badly. You can see, so the ones that are pointed are done blooming. The ones that are round are going to bloom. Done blooming. I won't bore you with doing all of that. Oh, well, that Bobo hydrangea is gonna flower again. Must have taken root. Okay. Walk around the garden. Bye for now.